Welcome everyone to part 2 of What Remains of Edith Finch. I love seeing people's
Now that
reactions
there's
to
only
this
one
story
of
as
us
well.
left. Or maybe two.
Oh. Yeah, so they did backtrack us a little bit. We did see this part at the end of the last stream, but that's okay. We'll just...
I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem.
Yeah, we came here
Maybe
with
we
past.
believed so much in a family curse. We made it real.
We passed Walter's little memorial here. Giselle made the comment that it's a little bit messed up to put a train on his grave here when that's what killed him, but you know, to each his own. Edie probably did this since she was the only one who knew he was here. I like the little like figurines and stuff on here too. Well, he lasted the longest out of most of the family, so good for him. There's some.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
There's some lawn chairs in the trees.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Oh. The lights are turning on.
But I thought you should know about your family.
Is the light turning on as we walk by them? Something happened here.
And the history you're a part of.
There's the old house out there. Blinking. I really want to swim out there. It's a full moon. Oh, there's the house from the backside too, by the way. That's awesome. The starry night sky behind it.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
So if you haven't gotten it, it's like Edith is writing this
I think the people in these stories believe
for someone.
For what that's worth.
At least we know we're going the right way. I just saw my shadow down there and I thought I was another person and it freaked me out for a second.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Is this the swing? Yeah. Here's the swing that what's-his-face died on. Calvin? I think? Yeah, Calvin. Which way are we going now? Not that way. Gary's potting mix. Oh, it reminds you of the fire game I played. Yes, Firewatch. It does. So yeah, the level of graphics and stuff, yeah. With like you're walking around like as a person, but you're not really seeing people necessarily as much. And it's
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it.
Not high budget, but it's really beautiful and stuff. And Giselle never finished Firewatch. She never finished watching me play Firewatch. I think she watched the first episode. But I don't think she finished it. I really like the ending of Firewatch. I totally understand why you wouldn't like it though.
Finishes building a cemetery before starting the house.
Because, yeah, I totally understand. I don't want to say it on here just in case people haven't watched the whole thing, but...
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but
It's, I understand.
The pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
The
3
pet
of the gerbils
cemetery.
are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Oh. We're in the pet cemetery. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Let's look at them all. Lucy. Lucy lived for a while. Lucy lived for 13 years. That's pretty good. It's not bad. Derpy and Derpy Jr. I love that. All the birds are just ridiculous. Derpy and Derpy Jr. Burpy, Chirpy, Furpy, Lurpy, Zerpy. We saw these memorials to these birds in Edie and Sven's room. Zoe, Coco, Tucker, Charlie. Charlie lived 14. I have a dog named Charlie. I hope he lives forever. Christopher. Oh, Christopher. The fish. They made a. You can see the what they were on their tombstones at the top, but Christopher, they made a gravestone for a fish. That's so funny. Your name is Charlie. Nice. I think Charlie must be one of the most common dog names. It's my parents' dog. Shotzi. What is Shotzi? It doesn't... I guess probably a dog because of the doghouse shape. But anyway, let's keep going. Bailey. Bailey lived for a while. 13 years.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Of course she did. Barbara Finch with her Hollywood star. Walter Finch in his hole. Oh, I love that. You can see him. He's in his little cave. That's really nice. Kind of messed up, the whole thing, but, you know, nice. Edie Finch with her, she's got a book with some words popping out. The library was her room. I think we'll probably end up getting to see that. I think I remember that, but I'm not entirely sure. But we never actually got to see inside the library before. Sven Finch. Calvin. Molly. Angel Cat. I don't want a fish named Christopher. I don't want a fish. I don't want a fish. let alone a fish that shares my name.
Edie's idea.
Oh, I need some water.
My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
Yeah, that's evident. I would say that is an evident fact about her. The old house is sinking, and she built a monument to him. So there's Odin.
See it poking out of the water at low tide.
That's awesome. Is this Edie? Yeah, this is Edie and Sven and their baby.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand.
I guess maybe we're supposed to go back there, but Sven, Edie, and Molly, their firstborn. Let's go down over here. I think we can look through here.
Edie said she dreamed about the old
Wow.
house every night.
Yeah, they put a little blinker thing out there so ships don't run into it, I guess. That would be kind of bad if a ship just in the fog suddenly saw a house in front of them with no warning whatsoever. There's probably a blinking light on the other side as well. Nope, guess we're going back the other way.
But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Yeah, it's held its shape pretty well. I mean, they did put it on a boat. They were able to put it on a boat in the late 1800s I think, or maybe they didn't come in I think it was built in the late 1800s, something like that. But it was built a long time ago, and it was brought over here. Well, I guess let's see. Molly was young, so it was not late 1800s. It was the 1930s when they came over here. Sorry, but late 1930s, and it's lasted this long. It was on a boat. It sank. I guess it's shallow out there. It's probably shallow out there at that section. So it's it makes sense. Sam Finch, Gus Finch, Gregory Finch. So Sam Finch is our grandfather, Edith's grandfather. Gus and Gregory were his other children besides Edith's mom. We'll go ahead and see their story soon, I'm sure.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Yeah. That is a really interesting comparison. Lewis and Milton. Milton's missing, but, assumed dead. Lewis and Milton were her brothers, and she lost them. Her mother, Dawn, lost Gus and Gregory. Let's go over here.
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
He's holding like a candle or something, or like a scepter kind of thing. Lewis has got a crown. And Sanjay is their father. Sanjay and Dawn had Lewis, Milton, and Edith.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
I mean, it's probably pretty rotted under there, but, maybe not quite enough to destroy the whole thing and bring it down, collapsing it and whatnot. It's also kind of a magical realism game. I think that's the best place to put it, like the best genre to put it in is magical realism.
But looking back on it now...
Oh, jeez. We're up in the precariousness of this place.
If she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Ooh. So that's a reveal. Edith is pregnant. That's who she's been writing this to this whole time. I was thinking about pointing it out earlier because I noticed when you look down, you can see her pregnant belly. It's like, it's getting there. It's 22 weeks. She's a little bit pregnant. But when you look down, you can see that. And I noticed that earlier. And since I already knew she was pregnant, since I watched someone play this game, it's something I remember about the game from when I watched it like a year or two ago or whatever, whenever I watched it. I didn't say anything. Thought it'd be better to let the game tell you, but I don't know where we're going. We're going in here? No, we're not actually going in the window. I think we're climbing up here, maybe? Yes,
I never
we
met
are.
Grandpa Sam, but I
Yes,
think he
she's
and my
17.
mom had a lot in common.
So we are starting to enter the extremities, I guess you would call it, of the house. The the add-ons, you could say.
They were both pretty intense.
Lots of animal heads everywhere. There's gonna be lots of photography and animal heads.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Oh, he was in the military as well. He was in the military, and
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
he's got lots of photo paper and film lenses and some film contact sheets in here in this binder here, which is awesome. Softbox, a reflector, that's awesome. That's such a cool little detail. It actually reflects stuff. I can't tell if all of these are like actually stuffed animal. Like, is this an actual taxidermy cat? I hope not. And that's a squirrel. It's like attacking the squirrel. It's pretty dark in here. It's kind of hard to see some of the details. K. We'll learn a little bit about K. Airline. Oh, there's like an airline ticket thing. And can I zoom in here? How do I do that? There we go. K Finch. Oh wow, they actually have the address of this place here. 2141 Fireweed Road, Orcas Island, Washington. It's also interesting to me that Sam, even though he'd left his old room with Calvin, he never went back in there. That's what Edith said earlier, that he never wanted to go back in his old room that he had to share with Calvin, dead Calvin, for however many years. He still came back to this house. Even though they built onto it, the family never like leaves each other. They all just stay here. I mean, the ones who don't die right away. But anyway, let's go ahead and interact with this thing. Sam, 1950 to 1983. He was only 33? Wait, what? Huh. No, 43. No, 33. Wait, sorry. Yes, I was right. I'm like second guessing myself. Whatever. Anyway. All right, let's go ahead and do this. I love this part. I don't know why I'm second guessing myself. I'm like, I know that's right.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Whoops, that
These
was a
memories are to
blurry
last a
photo.
lifetime.
Hmm?
That was a very bad blurry photo. Let's take another one.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Am I taking a picture of something specific? Oh, I'm taking a picture of her. Oh, okay. Whoops, my bad.
What?
Open the book again.
Perfect.
Hello. Welcome.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it?
Oh, this is nice. Edith Finch Memorial Park.
I'll never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
We get to move around the
I'm
camera,
gonna take
focus
some
it.
pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Let's see, what does she want to take a picture of here? Because it's going to kind of focus for me.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
That's a nice picture. I also just like the music a lot. Oh, there's a bird.
Aw.
I like this a lot. I like this a lot. It's so much fun. Someone else just be taking a picture of right here? Zoom all the way out here. The camera kind of focuses when you are getting towards where you're supposed to be. Just kind of looking around here. That's blurry. Wasting film. I feel like it's supposed to move on from this, but I don't know how. What else am I supposed to be taking a picture of? I'm just... There's only so much it focuses on, though. I already took a picture of that. Oh, there you go.
Coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
Hey!
Got
That's
it.
a keeper.
Nothing quite like being
I thought there
here.
would be something more farther off
I'm
in the
just saying,
distance.
I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff if you want
That's
to
nice.
survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad.
Ooh.
You're always Dad.
Good
Let's
eyes,
get
Don.
this picture and this picture. Both are good. Oh no, I don't like that one. I wanted him when he's had
Before
his
you
neck
take the
up.
shot,
Dang
let
it.
me get a picture of you.
Wait, where are you? Where are you, Dawn? There you are.
Dad, I
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target.
No. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got this. Ready?
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
Great shot, Don!
Okay then. Well, that's a pretty good photograph for him. Like, pretty good, good job with the, capturing the right moment or whatever. This is kind of sad. So we're Sam right now. We're gonna run over there as
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember
As
that,
him.
okay?
Oop, come on. It's kind of difficult
Dad,
controlling someone
it's
from this
twitching.
angle.
I think
That's
it's
totally
still...
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Bad timing. Bad timing, timer.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Wow, her mom never told her how her grandfather died. So that's Sam. Dawn's father. Wowza. U.S. Marines. Well, that's kind of sad. We're finding out what remains of Edith Finch. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I think we're moving on now. We get to go through this door now? No? Can we look through this here? Nope, we cannot. This is probably locked from the outside. Yeah, that's why the peephole thing is on the other side of this. We're probably going back outside then, maybe? There's probably a way to get into a different room from the outside, just like it was for this room. I'm just seeing if I'm missing any more details in here. This is kind of a cool room, honestly, like the way it's built and stuff. Nice, yes. No spoilers for anybody that hasn't experienced it yet. I'm a little bit confused where I'm going now, but actually, now that I think about it, I probably wasn't supposed to come out here. Well, this makes sense that the American flag is out here now. Right here, like, in this spot. Sam probably hung it up. Hung it up. Can I go through this window? Nope. I can't walk on it either. I keep trying to walk on the window and it won't let me. That's such a... I guess it's just a storage area, like a kind of like an attic kind of thing? I don't know. Like an attic with a window on it? Weird. Where are we going here, Edith? Oh, here we go. Duh, there's a little door back here. Look harder. I'm closing this behind us. Nope, just kidding. I thought she was turning around to close it behind her, but no, that was me being a doofus. I love this house. I love how there's so many little crawl spaces and
After
secret
Sam died,
passageways.
my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Same. I think they started out with Molly like for the perfect start to this game. The perfect start to the weirdness. Her turning into the cat and stuff. Just like there was no better way to start. Molly died by eating the holly berries, right? That's like she ate those berries and they're poison. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Either that or the toothpaste was poison that she ate. Either that or she did actually eat her fish, Christopher, and it was poison. I really hope she didn't eat Christopher. So, okay.
I can't
We've
imagine
got-
my mom ever writing poetry, and yet
We've got Gus here. We're going to do Gus in a second. Let me look around for a second. I'm pretty sure. I just want to double check something here. Okay, we can't actually climb
my
up
mom
this if we
moved
want
up
to.
the
We're not
loft
going to do
after her brothers died.
that. Okay. Sorry about that. I just want to check something. So,
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
these are her brothers, Gregory, Don, and Gus. I mean, I guess Don obviously didn't want to go the Calvin and Sam route. With holly berries with toothpaste, yeah. That makes sense. Gregory, Don, and Gus. Don did not want to go and sleep in the middle of her dead brothers, like Calvin and like Sam had to do with Calvin. But okay, I'm nervous for this. So this is, as you know, you can see Gregory was a baby. He was 1 year old. I just want to. This is, you can actually skip this one. I can't. If you totally wanted to, you could skip this story and move on to the next one. I think they do that for a reason. That it's a 1 year old, and you know what happens when we go into these things. We're seeing their deaths, and that could be an issue for some people. So if you don't want to see a 1 year old die, then you should probably not watch this. But I think they handle this really, really elegantly. It's an extremely elegantly done thing. And this is Sam's first child, I'm pretty sure. Was Gregory their first child? No, Gregory was their third child. It was the last child. So they had Don. Don was first, and then Gus, and then Gregory. Sam and Kay. Sam and his wife Kay had Don, Gus, and Gregory. And Gregory was their last child. So let's go ahead and go into Gregory's story here. Filed, Orcas Island.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
We can kind of play with the toys here. I'm moving the frog around. Oh. Up. Kermit. Oh, yeah, what can I do here? Can I... Oh, I can jump with it. Ooh.
Over, Gregory. It's time to...
Looks like that's Kay.
Hold on, sweetie.
Her necklace doesn't really hang properly.
Hello?
I don't know if anybody noticed that or not, but...
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
Can I pop this? Nice.
I wonder what he saw.
Oh, the words are like reflected in the bathtub. That's so cool. Let's pop this other one. Got it. Let's grab these ducks and maybe they'll follow us, like these other toys are.
He reminded me so much of him.
Oh,
Lost in his imagination.
oh wow. And grab the whale. Oh, dang. Whale's bouncy. The whale is
I know how
bouncy.
silly it sounds. But I worried about
Can I go up any farther?
But I could feel her slipping away.
Sorry
Oh.
about that, Gregory.
I know
She's
you did
back.
everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
It's a little bit. It's like Toy Story. All the toys are alive, but they're like through his imagination.
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory,
It's definitely
about everything.
a shared fault kind of thing. It's just something that happens, you know. Like everything in this family. It's just like, it's just something that happens. It's people's negligence in a way, but
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
even from the very first death, Molly's death, was technically Edie's fault. I think Molly's death is probably what made Edie so crazy.
And he'd want me to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Oh, well. So those were divorce papers between Sam and Kay. I guess they couldn't make it work after, especially after Gregory's death. But they probably blamed one another. That kind of thing. Well, let's close the book on that. That's Gregory. Once again, kind of messed up. They put the whale in here and all the bath toys and whatnot, but I seriously, don't leave your baby in the bath alone. Like, at any point. Even if, don't step away for even a moment. Even with the water gone, you never know. Just don't. I'm sure she learned that lesson the hard way. That's where we came from, so we're gonna go do Gus now. I mean, he turned the water back on himself. Like, with his toys and whatnot, you kind of see that he turned the water back on and let it flow. So, let's go ahead and look at Gus's story here. This is Gregory and Dawn's brother.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
So this is Dawn writing this poem. We gotta find the
My
words
father
and
made him come, of course, but
fly
Gus
through them.
stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
There's a wedding. Sam's getting remarried. It's like seeing how much I can fly this kite around. I can fly it all the way around for the most part. Don't want to get it stuck in the tree though. Oh, here's some more words.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Nice. Cursed people, yeah.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Picking up the chairs here.
Rain came down in buckets
yeah.
then, but no one seemed afraid that
We got
nature
them.
might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
I want to grab all of them. All of them. And we saw those lawn chairs in the trees earlier. Yeah. Negligence and an obsession with death was not great.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, make the music louder.
Y'all should probably go inside, right? Can I make this? There we go. It's like, I'm pretty sure I can like go inside this tent and make it go crazy.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam.
Wowza.
But I didn't. Until we found you.
It is a really cool shot. And they wrapped the poem around a kite spool.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Wow. So Gus was 13 when he died. So Don was only 14 when he died. So, right. They had like little lockers and stuff. They had their own lockers. All right, let's go back over to the rock wall. So we did see a whole bunch of books downstairs, or like in the main house, I guess you could call it, about homeschooling. So it looks like they had a lot of books for them. They had a chalkboard, they had lockers in their backpacks and stuff, and they had homeschooling here. Duties: Dawn, sweep trash; Gus, mop, mow yard; Greg, be a baby. They haven't erased this in a long time. Raise flag, breakfast, and quiet time. Wow, they let them stay up until 11? Dang. Be a baby, Greg. Good job. Jump rope, jumping jacks, push-ups, crunches. 150 jumping jacks, 100 push-ups, 100 crunches. Run to mailbox and back? Jeez, dude. I mean, that just seems like a lot. Okay, let's climb up the rock wall here, which is awesome. They have a rock wall inside their house. Is this how Dawn had to get up to her room every single day? Because she said Dawn moved up here. Moved upstairs after Gregory and Gus both passed. So she had to climb up a rock wall every single day to get to her room. That sounds awful. Here, hold on, let's there's a fire pole, so she can fire pole down, I guess. Let's see, what am I looking at here? So I can look at this thing, I can look at these things over here, I can open the window. Let's go ahead and look at this first thing we came across.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
I don't think so. There's even more. This house has everything, literally.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
India. So Sanjay is Indian, which means Milton, Lewis, and Edith are all half Indian. Here we can kind of zoom in a little bit here. To-dos: buy school books, majors: English, teaching, geology. What does it say? Places to visit? Nice. So we're not going to get a full Dawn story here or anything. We can go down here if we want to. I'm not going to... I want to ride on the fire pole, but I know it's just going to bring us down there, so I'm not going to do that. But just know that's because I don't have to climb back up the rock wall. But
my mom moved to
it's a
India
thing.
a week after
It's there.
graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
Lewis was the oldest. Well, they even had solar panels on the outside of the house.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
And I don't think I'm not entirely sure if we cover Sanjay or not.
I'm
I
sure
don't
Edie
remember.
was happy to have her back.
Edith, Milton, and Lewis. Looks like the kids had their own little
And to see kids in the house again.
gardens that they could do stuff with. Milton's obviously didn't last very long. He disappeared when he was 11, I think, right? Looks like Edith took care of hers, and Lewis grew some herbs in his. Then Dawn had her own big planter up here. So the family's moving up.
The house had to get
Yeah.
a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
The house had to get a little bigger. They had to get a little bit more up in the air, a little bit more precarious. I love how these lights are still on. Lewis is my favorite part too. I'm excited to get to it.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
There's a little classroom. So Edith and Milton disappeared, so he didn't have his own desk at this point. Lewis rules. So there's Lewis's death, and Edith's desk. Sorry. Our family history, fact or fiction. Moving on up. On top of the roof. This whole place is gonna come down. Great job. Awesome. It looks like they had stickers everywhere. They had little books and just like everything a classroom needs, including motivational posters. Multiplication tables. I love the fact or fiction, our family history fact or fiction.
But it didn't last.
Yeah. Nothing lasts in this family. Odin Finch, they did look a little presentation, little board on Odin Finch, the myth and the curse. Now Odin Finch, this is by Edith Finch actually. She made this. That's got to be weird to come back and look at that, having made that probably when she was pretty young. The scientific method. There's just so much detail here. I love it. Look how much. It's so great. Look at this family photo. There's Sanjay and Dawn with Lewis, Milton, and baby Edith. And Dawn Finch wrote books to learn and to teach and to learn. 7 Ways to Create a Fulfilling Classroom by Dawn Finch. She wrote a book that she at least used for her own teaching. I don't know if she used it for, she like published it for real, but she at least used it for her own teaching, it seems. Well, let's keep going.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
This is such a cool room, such a cool building. Edie gave him a castle. Now we can look inside.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
We're very similar in age. He was only born a year after me. I think actually I remember he was born a year and 3 days. He was born May 19th, 1992, I'm pretty sure. I'm only remembering that because it's only a couple days after my birthday, so. See if we can open the window, probably. Let's just look around here for a second. Okay, there's nothing around here. Let's just open the window. There is another game by the same developer called, this game, the developer is called Giant Sparrow. The game is called The Unfinished Swan. I have not played that game at all. I might play it in the future. Maybe not on here, maybe by myself, but you should definitely look up the game Unfinished Swan. It's this developer's first game. And it has connections to what we're seeing right here, I believe. I don't know what those connections are. All I know is that it's a connection of some sort. This is the music from Unfinished Swan. It was a paintbrush on his memorial. Yeah, I love the music in here. But this is music from Unfinished Swan. And this is some of the stuff from Unfinished Swan as well. So there's like a door. Oh, this is so cool. The ship with black balloons on it. This is Milton. This room is Milton. I don't know. I don't know anything about Unfinished Swan. All I know is that these games have a very loose connection because of this section right here. Okay, let's climb up here. This is such a weird way to get up to like a bedroom area. But he was a painter. But Giselle, you were right. He definitely was holding a paintbrush. I didn't even think about that, honestly. Even though I've seen this before, I didn't remember that necessarily. But look at all this paint. There's just paint everywhere. Let's take a look at this.
Milton
The magic
Finch
paintbrush.
in The magic paintbrush.
Okay, let's go ahead and flip through this. Achoo. This is so cool. I love this. He made a flip book inside a flip book. He made himself a door. And he walked right through it. I love this. This music is some of my favorite
I was
of the
four
game.
when Milton disappeared.
Wow. Let's close the book. I absolutely love the flip book. I love this little castle that he has. It's just like his little painting castle. It's fantastic. Oh, this platform actually does move up. I didn't realize the platform was moving up with us. I thought we were just like climbing up the rope. But that makes sense. It's like a pulley system kind of thing.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
So right after Milton got his castle, his little painting domain, he painted himself a door, walked right through it. I mean, that's you know, a story. You know, like she said, for what it's worth, the people in these stories probably believed them. But you know, who knows what actually happened to Milton? But after Milton disappeared, Dawn sealed the doors in the entire house. Sealed off all these memorials that her mom was making, that Edie was making, or not her mom, her grandmother. Sorry, I'm still getting the familiar relations
Whatever
confused.
Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
So that's Milton. Very short and sweet. And now we're going back this way, and there's actually a stairway right here we can go up. I don't know if you noticed from Milton's castle, but there's a whole lot more precariousness out here. We're once again
Mom
moving up.
definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
That's why, I guess, why Dawn locked all the doors and sealed them up. She blamed Edie for it. But Lewis was Milton's older brother.
After he graduated,
so.
he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
It's made out of a boat. This is pretty cool. It's like partially made out of boat. There's like at least a boat out here, which is crazy. I'm sorry. I already know we can't get in here, but can we look through here? Let's look through here.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room.
Ooh.
Except Lewis.
I got a trophy called a closer look, apparently. So it looks like I might be able to go through that window. Okay, I guess that's what... Yeah, that stairway goes nowhere, so let's go through the window. There's like little swings out here, little seats that you can sit in. Looks really dangerous. Really, really dangerous. Your great-grandma is still alive, you think? My great-grandma and great-grandpa on my mom's side were alive for a while. Like, while I was alive, I mean. They died in the early-ish 2000s, like mid-2000s. But I got to live until, like, I was 12 or 13 or 14, maybe. I think I was 15 when my great-grandpa died. So 13 to 15. Getting to know, like, knowing them. They lived in Vermont. And we visited them every once in a while. We visited them a lot more towards the end of their lives. But I love this. This looks like it would be so nice to sit out here and just relax. But also, I would be terrified of dying. So, anyway. The window opens, I guess, through this boat. Nope, come on. Wrong direction. Open the window. You got this. Edith. Edith. What? Edith, open the window. There you go. Lewis's room is pretty trippy.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar.
I wonder what it smelled like.
Gone.
I wonder what it smelled like. He's got a hookah thing here. Legalized marijuana. It's very trippy in here. It's a boat. He's literally living in a boat. The wide window. What is that? Is that one of the series of unfortunate events books? Or is that what you're talking about? Local woman found trying to open boat window for 3 hours straight. She kept closing it by accident. She couldn't quite figure out what the difference between open and close was. High school diploma. Orcas Island Regional High School. Wonder if that's an actual real high school. Wonderland Turbo.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Wonderland Turbo. Book 3. Right, the wide window is book 3. Okay. I don't remember the wide window. Aunt Josephine's house. Okay. I think I said I wonder if that's a real high school. Anyway, sorry. I don't know. But Aunt Josephine's house, yes. Let's do Lewis's story. Lewis's story is something. He's got like a little battle station here. Overlooking the woods. This is the coolest setup ever. This is so cool. I want this. Anyway, well, I do have like a overlooking the graveyard here. My window out here behind the blue screen behind me. It's my window outlooking the graveyard. But still. Oh. Let's get
Dear
going with
Mrs.
this.
Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
I'm using my right hand to cut fish off.
He
Cut
kept
fishes
working
off.
at the cannery.
Put them on the
He
thing.
withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
And I'm using my left hand to walk around. This is gonna take some getting used to.
I asked him to describe it.
Nope, nope, go in there. This is.
He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth.
Okay, this is way more difficult to do than watch someone do. Wait, okay.
He'd feel his way about.
Nope, sorry. Wait, sorry, this is
Then
it's a little
something
bit
moved.
difficult.
Bats.
Oh,
And toads.
And toads. Oops, sorry, the fish are building up.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head.
I need to not let the fish build up. Sorry, this is like, it's kind of difficult to talk and do this at the same
He
time.
took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Come on. Cut the head off. Ooh, this is such a...
But he found something more.
We're becoming a little bit more three-dimensional here.
I worried about him then,
Wonder if that makes it more difficult or less difficult.
daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. but he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused,
This is a model employee, all right.
like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on.
So we're coming up this cave here.
I even encouraged him.
It's getting bigger.
It seemed very promising at first.
There's a dog.
He told me he'd made a new friend.
Aw. We got a dog friend. Oh.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Cutting the fish
He
to
built the city up slowly, brick by
bring the
brick.
bridge down.
Then he made musicians.
Still cutting fish over here.
And songs for them to play.
Trying my best to walk around and cut fish at the same time.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something.
Lewis wants to start a band. And always humming something.
Every day his imagination grew stronger.
They're holding
He
little
no longer
cut
spoke
of
at the
fishes.
cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever.
You sure about that? I'm trying my best here. To be
Then one day
reliable.
it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
Oh my god, the stairs. Yep.
He held an election for mayor. And he won.
The flag. I love that. That's fantastic. Playing a
They
little bit
begged
too much
him
Mario.
to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Now we're going sailing. Lewistopia. Sailing away from Lewistopia.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
They seem really happy to be conquered.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Come on.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Oh. That's Dawn. Oh, that's sad.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of
A beautiful prince or a handsome queen? Go to the handsome queen.
handsome queen.
Oh, the color. Oh, geez, this is hard to navigate.
The queen was on her own quest for
Sinister serpents.
sinister serpents.
Definitely. It's like a, it's kind of like a pop-up book at this point, like the artistic style that's happening right now. I like it.
He followed the sound
Oh.
of her
Electric sitar. Let's go for the silver harp. Yeah, sure, why not?
silver harp.
Still cutting fish over here. That is still my right hand doing that, and my left hand is controlling the boat. In case anyone forgot.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
They have that book on their bookshelves.
Even then, his logic remained sound.
Oh wow, we're completely taken over now.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
There's too many fish. What the frick? Get these fish out of here. Why are you giving me like 3 fish at a time? Oh, snap. We're like right behind him now.
But
Super
he was
third
so
person.
proud of having created it.
Cut this fish off. There we go.
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Kind of blinked there for a second. Not sure what happened.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
And we're going through the tiny door and the big doors. Back in the cannery. It's really gross here. It's so... Why is there so much blood in... Here's his locker. Looks kind of like a switch. Like a very primitive
Began
switch.
to forget the world we know.
Some sort of handheld system. Oh,
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Yeah, this is not pleasant. This is not a pleasant environment.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
There he is. There's Lewis. Finch.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
I thought it was moving me, but I can actually move too. I can keep moving forward if I want to.
The palace would be packed with his companions.
Look at all the faceless people. It was...
Including the wise Calico
Yeah.
who'd insisted on advising me.
very unsanitary. The cat's name is Molly. He's got a big calico named Molly, because they had a cat named Molly. I've never actually been inside a cannery, but I feel like hopefully they're a little bit more sanitary than that, but maybe not. And even at this point, I have no idea.
His
But
queen waited, holding his crown.
his queen waited holding his crown. Ugh.
There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
That gives me chills. And
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
yeah. I kind of just want to talk about that for a second. When when this first game first came out, I watched a Let's Player play this, and I just loved that. And I think that hits home a lot for me. This Lewis's story, and in fact, it reminds me so much of just when I got out of college in 2013, I got a full-time job, and then I was let go from the full-time job. It was in I'm a full-time photo retoucher, and it was my first job out of college, and I let go because of just issues with the studio I was working for. And then I had to go work for a Costco, and I worked there for Thanksgiving and Christmas, that time of year. And I had to stay there overnight making pies. I made like 500 pies in one night before Thanksgiving. 500 pumpkin pies. They had like this crazy output like machine like thing that you had to like do, and you just made pumpkin pies like crazy. You had to like, and then you had to like clean it and like do all this stuff like constantly. You had to like just constantly take care of this thing that was like making the pumpkin pies, and it wasn't just the machine making the pies. You like used these various different machines to make the pies and stuff, and they were all like made, you know, from scratch. But I worked overnight, and I was so depressed at that point in my life. I was so quiet and depressed in myself. I barely knew anyone I worked with. I worked with a few people overnight all the time. I like barely talked to them. I would literally just be off in my own corner doing my own thing, my own assignment, and just be imagining I was somewhere else. And it so encapsulates how that feels, like the what Lewis is doing. I just like mindlessly did what I was doing, completely mindlessly, and was off somewhere else entirely the entire time. I would just like hum songs to myself. Most of the time I would imagine I was at Disney World, and I would literally sit there and imagine a whole scenarios of being in Disney World, meeting people, like doing rides, going off on my own, doing my own thing. Like would hum the songs to myself and like just be somewhere else entirely. And I was so in a bad state at that point in my life that I really feel the Lewis's situation there. I really love the way they did
On the
that.
way back from
My favorite
Lewis's
story
funeral,
of the game.
My mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
So that was the last
I'm
straw.
not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
That was the last straw for Dawn. She didn't want to live here anymore after Lewis died. She had lost 2 of her children and didn't want to lose the 3rd one, I guess. Let's go ahead and open this.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
There's a whole other kitchen up here. This house just keeps on going forever. Like, what would have happened if the family hadn't died and the family just kept going on and everybody kept having kids, but they just kept on adding to this house?
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
She has a whole... Oh, wow. She does have a whole box of her books. Orca's Publishing. Gotcha. So she did get it actually published by Orca's Island Publishing. That's awesome.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
We're finally getting up to Edith's room.
Maybe it should have come sooner.
Remember, it's been several years since Edith's been here. She was quite young when she lived in this room, and she was taken away from it.
One way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Her room is so cool. It's just like her own little hideaway. I mean, it's so tiny, but she was able to pack a lot into it. These kind of look like Lewis's, oh, there's a frog and a deer for Sam, for Gregory. These kind of look like Lewis's people from his world and the ship. Happy 90th birthday to Edie. She kind of has to crawl around to get through this room.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
to our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it?
This is the last
The
meal we saw in the...
grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
This is our last meal still left on the dining table downstairs in the main house. No, it's dark. So we were excused from the table. It's very dark. The only light we see is towards the library area.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance.
She sealed up the library. That's something that's interesting to me. She sealed up the library. I guess so Dawn didn't want Edith to like go off and spend time with Edie in the library and learn about all these stories and stuff.
To it.
Anyway, but there's a secret entrance, of course, because of course there is. There's a secret entrance to every room in this house. This is a pretty packed library. This house is crazy.
What you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
I mean, I can't say that I disagree with Dawn's perspective
we'll have
here.
the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay.
Edie seems kind of crazy and just a little bit senile and out of her mind a little bit, possibly. But
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
we're
It
Edie
was
now.
the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
That's a good point. Crazy that Edie lived so long when her entire family beneath her died. I mean, I feel like that also says something about...
But I
I don't
never
know.
thought I'd go back to it.
She's the only one who lasted through all of these deaths.
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Wait, that's the whole point of the blinking light. The blinking light is supposed to help us in fog.
I got turned around.
Wait, what? Where am I going now? I can't tell.
For a while,
Oh.
I wandered.
Okay, just go towards the words as much as I can.
I started seeing things.
Oh, okay then. It's gonna keep walking forward. That seems like a good idea.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things
Where's
I
the old
can't
house? Wow.
explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
Light came on?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
Oh no. I want to see what's in the old house.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
Bye, house.
The next
Bye,
morning,
crazy,
the van
crazy
came to
house.
pick her up, but she was already
I don't know if that
After
means
that,
she
we moved
died or
around a lot.
they found her dead or if she just wasn't there anymore. I feel like she wouldn't have left. So maybe they just found her dead? I don't know.
We
I
both
can't imagine
tried to make
Edie
the best
leaving.
of it.
Oh, good. I get to move her hand.
A few years went by.
And kind of move this around to shake the words off.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Oh.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
Dawn.
And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
I can feel the controller like pulsating.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Her son visiting the house. That's what remains of Edith Finch. So, that's the end. Oh. Let's see if there's any. Looks like they're gonna throw in some old pictures of the developers and stuff in here. But anyway, so I think it's implied that she died giving birth. She was probably a little bit worried about it. I think what was happening was she found out she was pregnant, very young to be pregnant, and wanted to go visit the house and write about it and learn some of these stories for herself so she could pass them on. She was the last Finch, the last one left, and if she was going to have a baby, she left this house when she was so young. There's so many stories she didn't know. All she grew up hearing about was, you saw on the board in the classroom, Finch family history, fact or fiction. Like, she didn't know what was real and what wasn't. She didn't know, what to all she knows about is a curse. And people believed in the curse. She knew some of the things her mom told her. Maybe her mom didn't tell her a ton of things. I feel like she definitely needed to know the stories for herself. So she went back, wrote a journal about it for her son, just in case she didn't make it. I keep getting these little trophies every time we pass one of the developers. It's funny. Like, when we pass certain developers. But, she was probably worried about dying, like all her family. And she did. Now, so that's in 2017, so... Wait, She was born in 1990. Yeah, so she was... Maybe she didn't... Did she die giving birth? I'm trying to, like, think about the timeline here. So she was born in 1999, right? And then she went and visited the house when she was 17. So it was either... So it was 2016 when she went and visited the house? Or 2017, I guess. I guess it could have been January 2017, and then she had or December or whatever, and then of the previous year, she could have had the kid a few weeks later. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Thinking about the timeline, so I just said January was when she died. January 2017. I guess that makes sense. I think... Here, let me look this up real quick. I'm pretty sure... Yeah. It is confirmed by the developers that the son that we saw at the end there, his name is Christopher. She named him Christopher Finch. Well, Christopher, I technically, this thing says his last name is unknown because we don't know who the father is. So, she doesn't talk about Christopher's father at all. I really like the way they've done these credits, like kind of intersperse them throughout some of these things. Like the tapes here is really cool. The Edith Finch team, 2012, so they were working on this for a while. The end. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We can go through and replay a story if you want. When you play this game, if you download this game and play it yourself, you can go through and do the replay story. So you can just replay an individual story if you want. From the game, like an individual person's story. If you like want to redo Lewis's story, just to, because that one's my favorite, and I think it's one of the most poignant of all of them. I think Lewis's story, despite being like so imaginative on like what he was imagining, and so it's basically playing a video game inside his head. I feel like it's the most realistic and most poignant of a lot of the stories. Then there's like Gregory, who I'm sure it happens a lot. And anyway, there's some that were really, really like over the top, like Walter's walking out and getting hit by a train, and Barbara is super up in the air what actually happened to her, and Sam's death is pretty crazy. And anyway, Milton, never know what happened to him. So that's it for this Let's Play, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I really love this game. I think it's just gorgeous, and I really like magical realism stories, and I think it's totally well done, and I think it works so well because of the fact that it's a video game. I don't think this would work as well if it was told in a different format. I think this is just told so perfectly through its medium. I just love when a game can do that. I love when video games can, when you play them, it's like this exists because it's a video game. This exists in the way it does. This plays the way it does. The story works the way it does because of the medium of video games. And I think it helps. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Doesn't matter. It's just a really cool thing to have that kind of, not justification or whatever, but anyway, I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense, but I'm going to be playing Spider-Man next. It's not based on any of the other games that have come out previously. It's a completely standalone. Any of the movies, anything like that, it's completely separate from those. It's just a new interpretation of the comics. It's supposed to be really good, and I'm really excited for it. We get to explore New York City. There's a lot of detail in the game I've heard, and There's a lot of cool stuff to see, a lot of cool things to find, and it's got a great story, and it's told really, really well. So if you like Spider-Man, if you liked Into the Spider-Verse, if you like any of the new Spider-Man stuff that's been coming out, I think you should definitely give it a shot. And if you don't have any interest in that, still come anyway, because it could be really fun to experience the story, because it's supposed to be a really good story. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday and a good week. I will see you next Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, when we start Spider-Man. So, goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.